Hi there, I'm Brian Fitzgerald. I'm the founder and CEO of Tinkergarten. There's a few decades of research around the way that young kids learn, and we've known this for a long time, that kids learn how to learn through play. The problem is kids are not playing enough anymore. In fact, relative to their parents a generation ago, they're spending about half the time outdoors as they used to playing. And the other countervailing force is the fact that preschoolers are spending up to 4 hours a day with media and technology, and by the time they're 8 years old, they're spending about 6 hours a day in front of a screen. And so it's a confluence of factors here where we feel that this generation is really at risk, and that was really the impetus for starting Tinkergarten. This is my daughter, my eldest daughter. I now have three, and this is her at the first Tinkergarten class. And it was that day in Prospect Park in Brooklyn where my wife and I got together. My wife is the other co-founder of the company. And we got together with a handful of families in our community, and we decided to get the group together and launch an activity and play together. We had a great time. They all had a great time. And I think none of us had any idea that this was actually going to become a movement. And since then, things have really begun to take off. And for us, what we've developed is basically this robust kind of workforce of people who are running classes just like that one in parks all around the country. And we use technology in order to enable that all to happen. So it started right here with a handful of teachers after the first class. We tested this in the region in a number of different places, and then started to spread it out in non-urban areas and other kind of areas around the country. And now this is a kind of a network that's very fast growing. And so we see hundreds of applications a day for people who want to do the work. This is largely a network of teachers who come to us and are trained and vetted, and we enable them to run classes. So there are close to 2,000 now leaders and teachers around the country who are running Tinkergarten. This is happening right now in parks all around the country. We've served over 175,000 students. And these, given the data that we're seeing in terms of the adoption, these are, we're kind of right at the beginning of this curve. So this is really, beginning to take off. The leading the movement are these people. I said, many of them are educators, either formal or informal, but you don't have to be an educator to become a Tinkergarten leader, because what we do is we invest very heavily in your training, and we support you pretty robustly in order to run the classes. It's a really simple model. It's a two-sided marketplace, and parents pay us for the classes. We pay the leaders to run the classes, and we also sell this through school channels. We've got a new product which we're launching this spring called Tinkergarten Babies. So as early as 6 months old, there are babies and moms and dads outside and caregivers in parks getting access to a pretty robust curriculum where they're understanding about their babies and their development, but they're also getting a lot of the kind of natural stimulation and benefits of being outdoors, as well as connecting with their community. We're also beginning to sell this into schools and through school channels. We've got two relationships which we just launched with two of the biggest care providers in the country, Goddard Schools and Bright Horizons, and we're doing many other relationships with networks of schools and community centers and so forth. And so the third kind of leg of what we're doing is we're providing access to Tinkergarten. So for low-income communities and underserved communities, we're actually partnering with foundations and corporations in order to effectively underwrite Tinkergarten leaders and classes to run in these communities. And so today, I'm here. This is actually the first time that I'm not raising money at GSV. We just raised our Series B, but I'm here looking for partners. We're looking for the kind of partners who would help us to extend this into schools, so networks of schools and states and districts and so forth, as we're getting a lot of interest in having this program manifest in a lot of ways. Also teacher networks, finding the next crop, the next 1,000 or 2,000 leaders we're looking for, and providing wider access. So any foundations or corporations, anybody who wants to get involved in bringing this to more and more communities, I'd love to talk to you. Again, my name's Brian, and thanks for your time.